everyone!
Hello!
Hello! Welcome back to our channel here, and again we are joined by a lovely friend, Persolaise.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. You've been in a couple of previous videos with us, and we've done quite a bit of discussion around like the gender of fragrance and what makes things masculine and feminine, etc. So today we thought we'd do a video on unisex or shared fragrances, so things that are actually marketed as being for either a man or a woman.
Yes.
So we've got a few examples from our portfolio which we will spray and discuss basically.
Excellent.
So what should we kick off with?
Well, shall we start with an Annick Goutal fragrance? Now this one's interesting because it's marketed for men and women, but in different bottles.
Oh, so that's something, isn't
it?
Because
Because a lot of unisex fragrances are in a kind of gender-free bottle, non-specific gender bottle. But this one is the feminine bottle, and this one is the masculine bottle, and the fragrance is Eau d'Adrian, which I know we all know quite well anyway.
Yes.
You guys have
I'll
that
give
one.
you
What, before we even start, what role does packaging play, do you think, in you as a man or us as a woman deciding to buy something?
I think I would say that, unfortunately, probably a huge role.
Yeah.
I think it has a much more profound effect than maybe even a lot of us appreciate. I mean, in your role, you probably get confronted by this constantly. There are so many things that guys particularly, I guess, will not touch if it's the wrong colour, if it's the wrong shape, if it looks shock horror, a little bit girly. Maybe women are less hung up about this than men, but men certainly.
Do you think that looks like a female bottle?
Well, I have been conditioned to think that, haven't I? Because it's got a pretty little bow, it's got a ribbon, it's got the sort of feel to the curve. So yes, I guess I would have to look at that and think, oh yeah, that looks like a feminine perfume bottle.
You can understand why then, that because this was the original Annick Goutal shaped bottle, that the brand felt that if they were bringing something to market that was for men as well, they felt like they had to have something square, rugged.
Straight lines, different label.
It's in our minds, it's like curved is feminine, straight lines is masculine. Okay.
Right, let's see what we think about the scent.
Thank you, I've also sprayed it on my skin.
Oh, I do love this one.
Yes.
It's just so energetic. It's like a burst of fresh air, fresh energy.
But it's soothing as well, isn't it?
Yes.
It's soothing and energetic. With so many cologne-style scents, they need to create the hologram for me. I need to be able to close my eyes and imagine that I'm plunging into this gigantic bowl of citrus where the oils are being squeezed out of the lemon peel, and this one does it.
It does.
Suddenly there's this burst of yellow.
True lemon, true. Like you say, the peel, the oils from the peel.
And it's sharp, isn't it? Sharp fruits, so grapefruit's in there as well as lemon. You've got the bergamot in there to give a bit of fizz. I think it's great, and it really reminds me of being somewhere like diving in the sea in the Mediterranean. You know,
I mean,
just see the clouds parting.
That's the idea. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but it was. I mean, it wasn't actually the first Annick Goutal fragrance, because there was a fragrance beforehand, Fol Avril, which is now discontinued, but this was launched in 1981 and it's known as the first fragrance from Annick Goutal. And she was inspired by a holiday in Tuscany, and you know, the citrus groves and the cypress trees, so that kind of green and citrus merger.
I mean, that cypress tree is, I often think, you know, it's very Mediterranean, that tall fir tree.
Oh, of course,
and you can smell, there as the fragrance dries down, the wood comes through, but it's...
But what I would say is that maybe this is why this has got so much staying power. Because if it had just been about citruses, I think it would have been easy to dismiss. But there is a sweetness in there. There is a gentleness in there.
I like the fact that she's put ylang ylang in here as well. Absolutely. You know, so again, we were talking in our first video of this season about the role of flowers, and we were talking about the rose specifically, and it being sort of conditioned in our mind that florals were female. And there's, you know, ylang ylang is in a lot of female scents, but here it doesn't smell floral at all. It is very shared. And I feel like it taps into that cologne-y style. I mean, most colognes are to be shared anyway.
And I think we can say that we would all really happily wear this and not feel like it was,
no,
you know, odd.
I've actually really enjoyed rediscovering it lately, and it is just such a joy to wear. And when you are talking about citruses and quite clean woods and green notes, especially certainly in our culture, I don't think anybody would particularly think that you're blurring the gender lines too much. This is very, very safe territory.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Okay, lovely. Right, on to the next.
On to the next. Another, should we do the Bulgari one?
Yes, it's behind you there, isn't it?
So this is another quite safe one in terms of style, because I feel like that sort of aromatic-y note, that tea note, is a safe bet.
Yeah, so this is Eau Parfumée au Thé Vert by Bulgari. Interestingly, it was the first ever fragrance that Bulgari did, wasn't it?
It was.
And originally made as a gift.
I think it was. We were discussing this off camera, that it was made for Bulgari to give their sort of special clients in the jewellery store as a present.
And it's kind of what they want Bulgari to smell like. You know what I mean? Because actually now, in Bulgari hotels, they pump this out.
Right.
So it's meant to kind of embody in Bulgari in a smell. Yes, exactly. Again, the bottle is quite gender neutral, I would say. It has been reworked slightly over the years, hasn't it?
There's lots of different teas. So there's a white tea and a red tea, a black tea and a blue tea. They all come in this shaped bottle with obviously the very different colours. Green tea being green. And they disappeared for a while, and now they've come back. Not in massive distribution, but you can find them. It just reminds me of starting my perfumery career. It launched in the early 90s, and that's when I was kind of on counter. And, it did it smells like the 90s in a way to me. That clean, sort of zen-like. Yes, definitely.
Very, very post-80s in that sense. After we came
all
out
the
of
excess
that,
was gone.
absolutely.
I think people were sort of.
The funny thing about this one is that I've always thought it is actually quite hard to do a tea note, and I know this is meant to be green tea, and if you've ever sort of actually made green tea from matcha powder, that's a very, very earthy kind of smell, and that's not. It's much cleaner.
It's much cleaner, soothing, isn't it?
Now, I'll tell you a story then, because, like I said, I sort of knew this when I started to work in perfumery, and I really loved it. It was. I used to call it my 3 o'clock fragrance. You know, when you're getting a bit sort of tired on the shop floor, and I needed something to sort of give me a pick-me-up, I used to spray this. And I thought it was great. I had never drunk green tea in my life.
No.
And then a few years on, someone offered me a green tea, and I thought, oh, I like green tea because I like the smell of it. And I didn't like green tea to drink. It's quite an acquired taste, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I like some green teas, but I don't immediately think of green tea. Which is fine. It's actually.
It's quite peppery.
Yes, it's actually heading much more in that sort of direction, isn't it?
I'll be honest with you, what I like this fragrance for is like the body products. It's not something that I wear as a perfume, but in a shower gel and body lotion and things like that, it gives me that kind of, that clean, soft feel.
And would we say this one is actually maybe heading just slightly towards floral? More so than the Goutal.
It's got rose and jasmine in the heart of this. And although I wouldn't smell it and go, that's a floral fragrance, that gentleness that a floral note gives, I think, comes through.
Almost that plush texture. There is that feel to it.
Do you feel like it's more masculine or feminine for you? I mean, or do you feel like it's truly unisex?
Out of the 3 that I know we're going to smell to, if I had to classify one as heading towards feminine, it probably would be this one. Because there is a kind of opaque quality to it, maybe. But you know, I'm saying only marginally. Only slightly. And maybe because the citruses aren't quite so overt,
that's true.
That also makes us think, okay, so where does this lie? But very, very 90s actually.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And then we've got one more, which is a little different.
It's always behind you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So you're familiar with the Les collection. This, I'll let you explain, Sarah, because you've been training it recently. But these are the Les by Cartier, and this is one of them. They're a niche collection, only in Harrods.
Harrods and the Cartier boutiques in the UK,
And this one is Le Virtus.
Yes, it's number 3.
The third hour.
So they all have an hour, which is kind of on the back that shines through, and a name as well. So I believe that Mathilde Laurent, the perfumer for Cartier, who created this collection, was really inspired to go back to the pharmaceutical perfumery era, when things were quite medicinal and things all came from nature, and she thought a lot about, you know, medicines and potions that would be mixed to protect you from the plague and such things.
We talked about it in one of our history videos, we'll link it below, where there was a real period in history of perfumery of people literally using those kind of green herbaceous notes as perfume to ward off plagues. It's great, isn't it? It's so different from so many other scents.
I remember the first time I tried it, whichever year it was, I think it came out towards the end of whichever year it came out.
2012,
maybe.
I think.
And I smelt it at Harrods, and I just thought, this has got to be one of my favourites of the year. It's just...
What do you like about it?
Because it's just
you smell a lot of perfumes in a year.
I think because it's just so convincing. This is freshly cut grass,
isn't it?
And you are just there. You're having a picnic on the grass, and everything's perfect, and the sun is shining, and the sky is blue, and somebody's pouring you a lemonade, and it's just.
It's true.
This is genius.
You'll say it smells so true.
Completely.
Like when we sprayed these actually a couple of days ago, and I said, oh my god, that takes me back to when I used to be with my friend in her garden, and we used to pretend to make perfumes by picking all different leaves and grass and mushing them together in a pot in the garden. It's that smell, you know, maybe a bit of lavender in there as well. So I know we used to pick the lavender and the basil and the mint and, you know, all those things you would find really in an English garden actually. I think that's why I like it as well, because it doesn't really smell exotic.
No, it doesn't.
And I like that.
It smells of a meadow at home, you know, under the sun. I think in terms of the unisex quality of
that's true.
Again, that greenness transcends gender for me. You know, and green fragrances aren't always very easy. They're not always massive sellers. They tend to divide people. But you know, the green in this, I think, it does allow you, a man or a woman, to just go on a bit of a nostalgic thing.
No question. And you mentioned lavender. I mean, I think that's another thing that's beautiful about this one, because it seeds into this lavender note so effortlessly. It's just really, really beautiful. One of the best ones in that collection.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I think we've easily managed to find 3 that are great unisex fragrances for either a man or a woman. I hope maybe some of you have tried them. If you haven't, pop into store and see if you can hunt them out and let us know what you think. Also maybe let us know what your favourite unisex fragrance is. Do you share a fragrance with a partner? I'd be interested to know.
Because that is one thing. Why do you buy a unisex fragrance? That's what I'm interested in knowing. Is it because of convenience and you and your partner want just one bottle in the bathroom to both pick up and spray, or you don't want to smell like your partner but you want something that is kind of gender neutral?
Or is it just because you like the smell of this and you don't really care how it's marketed, you know? So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in today, and we will see you all again next time.
Well, we also should say, before we go, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And collaborating on our video. It's been a real pleasure to have you. Maybe we'll do some more in the future.
As always, all Persolaise's details are below in the description, so go and check out his YouTube as well. Okay, bye.